the lower bracket. Remember, it's a best of 3. Winner continues on and finishes in the top 6. Loser is done at TI5.
Interesting wristband. It's obviously the Bristleback respect. From Vici Gaming, it's a strategy MVP Phoenix run when they had their back against the wall.
Are we going to see Spirit Breaker?
Spirit Breaker there's no bounty, but Spirit Breaker is still open for them.
Yeah, it's kind of strange because Vici, I think, was actually the first team to use Spirit Breaker in the offlane for Ice. They were in the experimental phase where they tried like Riki offlane and a lot of other ones, but Spirit Breaker was the one they actually had a lot of success with against the blinkers like Queen of Pain, and now MVP Phoenix have kind of used it in their own special way.
I have a question regarding Lina in combination with Bounty Hunter. Earlier today, Nahaus tweeted out that those two together have had an unbeaten record, 5-0. Is there any kind of hidden synergy between the Bounty Hunter and Lina that I'm completely missing here?
Kill people, get gold.
Oh, yeah, that would be the obvious one, but you can do that with any combination with Bounty Hunter, right? Or what makes Lina so special?
I mean, she can just always take a hero down. It's kind of like suicide with techies, right? You just blast them over to your Laguna, you're going to die.
That's why he also has on it against Bounty Hunter.
I don't really think you can look too much into it. Yeah,
it's a very mobile hero with the movement speed. They usually get a dagger, shadow blade. They're just looking for pickups as well. And Bounty Hunter just reveals a hero that's by himself, and then Lina just presses him down, and it's an easy kill. It's a lot of pressure on the map.
It's a lot of lane pressure too. Like Lina, will always pressure her opponent in the mid lane. We haven't seen Viper. Viper's the only one I really think she can't pressure that much. But
if you're looking for something that's not that obvious, as what we were saying right now, Lina is also one of those heroes that just push the lanes all the time. And when you want to kill people, you need to make sure your lanes are pushed, so they actually defend, so they reveal their positions, you know where they are. And that's how you're going to get kills, and so Lina helps with that.
Yeah, that's like kind of hidden synergy between the heroes. It's not obvious, but it actually works very well together.
Yep. For Vici Gaming, unfortunately not happening because they banned out the Bounty Hunter themselves.
Dazzle, Spirit Breaker, this is a fighting lineup.
Rubik, man. They need the Rubik. I think Rubik's good for Spirit Breaker. It's been like first ban versus Vici a lot. Too, and of course FY can carry with that.
Would you not say that for MVP Phoenix it's smart to ban out the Rubik? Because it is obvious, especially now that Clock is picked up. Second phase Rubik ban, Respect ban.
Looking at their lineup, so they have Clockwork and Lina, and Vici is taking out PL. Like Clockwork has kind of a hard time dealing with a illusion-based hero.
Vici Gaming's turn to ban.
They're not. What about Anti-Mage? We saw Anti-Mage a lot yesterday. Spirit Breaker can kind of deal with them. Lina can also kind of deal with them. I'm not sure if either teams are really looking for it.
There's still the Queen though, so I'm just seeing the pattern where it's not only LGD and see that every other team is like, Queen is not the hero we want to prioritize anymore.
Definitely.
Has something to do with the Lina as well, because Lina beats the Queen in the lane mostly, and it sort of eliminates some of her versatility in the early game.
It might also be just because of the super long cooldown on her ultimate that has kind of been shunned in favor of ultimates that are like on a minute cooldown, like Clock, Lina.
How about Darkseer for either of these teams? Had an immense success yesterday in most of the matches. I think in terms of win rate in this main event, it's actually 77%.
I feel like if one of those teams pick Darkseer, then it's going to be MVP Phoenix.
Yeah, because Clockwork for Vici already.
And there's also a lot of synergy between Spirit Breaker and Darkseer.
But I feel they mostly prioritize, like if they were to pick the Darkseer right now for MVP in their next pick, it's going to be a support Spirit Breaker. And it's not so much of team fight, and it doesn't really feel like MVP is a team that they want to go for a very heavy single target support. They mostly go for team fight supports like Witch Doctor.
We might see a Queen of Pain safe lane, because Clockwork he's a very good offlane hero, but if there's one safe laner, like one of those that you really don't want to face, it's Co-op, Razor, Viper, those safe laners, they just destroy Clockwork. And he's very good at getting experience versus any tri-lane. When you face a very strong tri-lane, your offlaner is usually Clockwork, because he just cogs the creeps and messes with the lane equilibrium anyway.
It also opens up for mid TA, which I think actually matches up really, really well versus Lina.
Unfortunately, TA removed.
Oh, she's banned. Oh,
that would have been a great pick.
Oh, I like that.
Early maiden pick. So it's most likely going to be a Lina mid. I'd say I don't think maiden plus Lina support is such a combo. It has a lot of burst damage, but
Fire Nice. It's sisters.
Nice.
They do the same pretty much. They nuke people. It's not very reliable disables. I don't think they're a good support duo.
Fair enough. And Super plays an amazing Lina as well.
I'd agree. But MVP are drafting right.
It's funny to see that yesterday Naga was such a contested pick, but between the two teams right now, no one is actually touching the hero.
Yeah, East versus East, they just ignored.
That's what I love about that TI, is that the meta is so different. Every game, it's exactly what RTZ said yesterday actually. Every game has its own meta. Like, all the teams, they can go for different picks, different playstyles, and none of those is actually weaker. It's just, everything's viable so far.
So there we go, that nuts Witch Doctor. I think we had a stat before, like he was the Witch Doctor that actually dealt the most damage or something along the lines.
He played an amazing Witch Doctor. He did so much for his Empire.
I find that for not playing Witch Doctor, it's normally his positioning that is so on point. He finds that spot for his ultimate, not able to get interrupted at all, and just his positioning is the reason why his Witch Doctor is so insane.
And talk about the battle of the Singaporeans. Clockwork will be played by Ice and Ice, so it'll be the Clock's job to actually make sure that that doesn't happen in the fights.
Definitely. It's really like a fighting lineup for MVP Phoenix, honestly. They're looking for fights. They have a lot of heals, they have a lot of sustain. Rubik. So it is actually for Lina mid, or it could be another role, but Rubik from FY, Rubik and Maiden, not also the greatest support duo. I mean, if you look at Vici's gaming lineup right now, they're again looking for a hard carry, because you lack a lot of physical damage. Sure, the Lina brings a bit of, anti-BKB, but besides that, I mean, I feel like Maiden, Rubik and Clockwork together, they're very early game oriented.
It's actually House Luna that gets removed. I also find that Vici Gaming, looking at their lineup, they seem kind of squishy.
I wouldn't be surprised to see, for example, a Spectre pick. That's the type of
that's what they need. That's what they need. A hero that can actually clean up, carry to the late game, tanky. It fits that criteria for sure.
They have a lot of anti-push, so they can go late game.
What about an anti-mage still?
It could work, but I feel like anti-mage...
Too much pressure, maybe?
Yeah. I don't think anti-mage is the best hero, because he's really not going to be able to join fights early at all, maybe even later. They have really good heroes versus anti-mage. They have a lot of physical and control. I'd like to see a Spectre here.
Yeah, Spectre is really good at... We talk about Witch Doctor he's going to be able to do damage from behind, but Spectre is the carry that you can find him no matter what.
Exactly.
So that's a good way of dealing with the Witch Doctor.
And they don't have so much AoE, like they can't really control Spectre's ulti. They're all gonna take a lot of damage from it.
Yeah, the only issue with that is, I feel it's similar to anti-mage. She's going to be under pressure in the lane, because laning phase is more or less worse than AM even.
A hero they could go for as well that could work really well would be a Naga carry right now for Vici Gaming. I don't know if they play that. Ooh. That's very interesting. That's pure Spark.
That's just like an MVP lineup,
Yeah,
fight.
It really is. Just go for fight. I think Naga carry could do a lot for Vici Gaming. They have nothing versus Illusions right now. Even PL, but PL is banned. So I could see a Naga carry. It's also a very strong lane. They're not going to be under pressure too early.
They need someone that can actually deal with everything, like carry the whole team through.
I think it's much safer to go with the Spectre pick, because she can fight a lot more early, and MVP Phoenix is going to be fighting all the time.
It's just that the laning phase and the early game for the Spectre is going to be very, very difficult against Slug and Spirit Breaker. They don't really need much to pressure you, they just need their levels, and Spectre will be under heavy fire against those two heroes.
What carry would you prefer?
I'd see Naga, honestly. I think they have nothing with Illusions, and if Naga gets to that stage, he's going to have a good early game, because you have Clockwork, Lina, Maiden, Rubik. Those lanes are really strong.
I don't think they have much options, so they need someone to be able to carry everything, and Naga is one of those heroes.
I feel they have nothing versus Naga and MVP Phoenix. They actually have 0 AoE.
What about a Juggernaut, just to throw that out there?
I think it's so because they have a lot of spells against Juggernaut, like they actually almost all their spells, Spirit Breaker, ulti, the Weave, obviously the physical damage.
Grave as well.
Graves.
What about Sniper?
Pop ulti. Sniper could work, but Link... So that's a hard hero. That hero could work, actually. They don't have a lot of disables. That's a great hero to think of.
That's the first time, right? The hero has a
I think so, yes.
It is, yeah. It is a first time pick at TI5 for Morphling. So let's head over to our commentary team for the opening game of the day with Toby Wan and Cinderin.
Thank you very much. Yes, it is time to get underway with Vici Gaming as MVP. Vici Gaming, of course, they're no strangers to TI. They've made it to the grand final before, but MVP, they are upsetting everyone with their victories every single time, and they're such a bunch of nice guys.
Yeah, it's hard not to be an MVP fan. I think they're really nice, and the same could be said for Vici Gaming, right? They've all of their results. It's really cool. What I really like about this event is that we get to see personal stories of some of the players that, at least generally the Western following, don't know too much about a lot of the Chinese players. So it's really cool that we get to see, for example, this profile on FY and Vici in general. So it gives you a little bit more insight into what's going on behind the scenes for the players. And yeah, what a draft this is. I cannot believe we're getting a Slark and a Morphling in the same game. This is two heroes that have, I think this might be like the second or third Slark pick of the entire tournament. I think it's the first of the main event. Thinking twice, it might only have been picked once before, and it might have been MVP in the group stages. Actually, QO, I do believe, played the Slark earlier. And first overall pick of Morphling. Crazy stuff. I think the Slark pick is great. You look over Vici's lineup until they pick the Morphling. Slark is actually really good against all these like predictable stuns, such as Light Strike Array follow-up. You can easily just pre-cast it before you get lifted by Rubik. You can break out a Frostbite. And he's also good against Clock and Lane. You can actually just run in and fight him, and you can jump into the cogs. You can pounce over the cogs and into there, which is really important, and pounce out of them as well. So very interesting mechanic for that individual matchup.
Man, if we were looking for MVP to give us something, we always knew it was going to be some kind of unique pick. These guys were known for running heroes, which may not be the standard meta, being like, we always think back to Warlock. MVP kept running this, even though most other teams were not looking at it. And VG Gaming to pick up a Morphling, there was a lot of debate going on during the group stages about like what heroes wouldn't be touched, and Morphling was one on the tip of the tongue of everyone. And the question was going to be like, how could you make him work? And most of the discussion was ending up in a strength-based off-lane Morphling. You use him for his long stun, almost like a Beastmaster, and now we see him in the hard #1 position in Hao's hands. So we're actually going to see a fighting Morphling coming out from VG Gaming.
Yeah, the off-lane strength Morphling got nerfed, got hit really hard by the Adaptive Strike nerf, being changed from being instant to an 1150 travel speed, which sounds really fast, and it is, but it allows you to dodge it with like blinks, stuff like puck space shift, you know, that kind of stuff. It makes it all a lot less flexible as a pick.
Just to also flag out the lanes, you were talking about the Slark being so good up against someone like a Clockwork. They've actually decided to safe lane the Queen of Pain up against the Clockwork, and that pushes QO into the middle lane up against the Lina of Super, and March has to do his hard time up on the top lane. Okay, also I want to look at Hao. Let's talk more about the Morphling while we've got some time. They can be a little bit more passive in the early laning phase. What is Hao meant to build? What is his timing? And what's really the objective of this Morphling?
Generally, the two core builds for Morphling are either a very combat-oriented build with an early Manta, or it's the classic Lincoln Sphere into E-Blade build-up, which also got nerfed as E-Blade was changed to a projectile, so Morphling got hit like twice as hard. I think in this game, the E-Blade is extremely powerful for their team just because of how much magic damage the other heroes also have. And it's a pretty good way of dealing with Slark. You want to kill him in a very quick burst rather than having sustained damage that he can just outlast with his ultimate and just running in and out of fog. So I would like to see Hao with a shotgun build in this game. I think it could work with if Super has a good mid lane, and so far he's doing well for himself.
Yeah, he actually almost, if he was able to hit the Light Strike Array on QO, we'll be looking at a very one-sided lane going the way of VG Gaming, but QO able to pounce away, use his salve, and once he's level 6, QO won't really care as much about this harassment coming out from Super, because he'll just move out of vision, heal up, and then come back and do it all over again. The Laguna Blade is the only thing he'd have to be slightly concerned about. In the meantime, I also want to keep tabs on Nuts and his movements. The Witch Doctor play for MVP has made so much space. The Paralyzing Caster keep catching teams out away from creep waves, away from neutrals, and just having these isolated heroes getting hit by the cast. It's almost like having an extra ultimate during a team fight. Nuts' position normally perfect on that.
This game, it's going to be hard for him, though, because I think the way Vici Gaming's lineup is set up, it makes it a lot less likely to find those incredible casks. Morphling can just dodge.
I think March is dead. March should really be dead right now.
He's in a lot of trouble here.
The smoke movement up by Fenrir and FY. He's got charge, but that's the reason why FY is holding with the telekinesis, so he can drag March back. And the bash onto Hao. He does the damage, but not enough to get a kill. Morphling will take it. And VG Gaming off to a good start on their Morphling.
And this is a hero that really does not play well from behind. That's why I think the panel were, first of all, surprised because we don't see Morphling in general, but secondly, they were talking about how they needed a fighting carry early on, and Morphling is, waveform is pretty good for fighting early, but that's like everything you have. You're not really much reliable outside of that until you start getting some decent core items, such as the shotgun build. So it's very important that Hao gets his farming speed increased here so that he can play out the game plan for Vici.
Yeah. Moving forward in his items. I also want to keep tabs on March because we did see the effect where if you look over towards what happened with EG and PPD Spirit Breaker, the lowest net worth, but still having a huge impact on the game, just charging around. You've already got a level 4 Spirit Breaker. When's this going to start to affect the other lanes? Super with the Light Strike Array is the only thing that can stop the charge in. And in fact, well, QO, they're moving up for him. Ice got both cogs as well as the battery assault for QO. Try and break free. The Light Strike Array not going to connect, but it does not matter. The Lina still having enough damage and QO dropping quickly. And Super with a haster, and he might go for more. Finds a stun over on Nuts, going deeper into the tree lines, and Nuts, the paralyzing caster around, buys some space with a rocket and the attacks, gives a double kill over to VG Super.
And that ends up being a pretty costly misplay here from MVP. Unfortunately for them, Feby did not get the Grave off. I think he got surprised by how fast QO got taken down, and ultimately didn't manage to get the Grave off. And that also gets Witch Doctor killed, because if he had got that Grave off, it's very likely that Lina would have chased. At the very least, the Witch Doctor would have been able to dodge off to the right. So this is very big for Vici Gaming, getting a kill on Hao and 2 kills on Super. Already a 2,500 gold lead for them.
They're going again on top. This time the charge will be successful, however, because FY led with the telekinesis. He knew he was able to just charge himself back down to mid lane. Big March. There's a lot of stacks inside the Radiant jungle which are going to start to be farmed up shortly. So some power leveling will be coming the way of MVP Phoenix, and they need it. They're currently 2.5k net worth behind and rapidly approaching 2k experience behind, and we're only 5 minutes into the game.
It's a kind of a... I don't want to say it's very unusual, but it's a little out of the ordinary how much experience the offlaners of both teams are getting. The Clockwork is level 5.5, minute 530, and so is the Spirit Breaker, more or less. He's 200 experience behind, but they're both level 5. This early. It makes for a very explosive game when you have 2 teamfight offlaners such as Clockwork and Spirit Breaker.
March in trouble again. He should be dead right now. He try and turn for a charge through 3 of them, and that's exactly what he's going to do. Maybe the Shallow Grave will be up, and March, just get away from VG Gaming or else you will die. The Sonic Wave, in comes KP. While the Spirit Breaker may die, it'll be a double return as the attack flies up and kills off FY. The Morphling just decided to TP himself back out to base. But a good rotation in from the Queen of Pain, and finally MVP Phoenix get themselves off the mark.
Hao just waited too long. I think they could have waited for him, killed the Spirit Breaker before the Grave even came off, but he wanted to be sure to get the last hit. It's understandable when you're playing the Morphling in this position that you want to be greedy and secure the kill, and maybe he was missing just that little last bit of damage to secure it, and the counterplay from MVP there, really important.
Because this now is going to give momentum towards KP. Up to level 7 and also able to finish up his full treads. Still Ice now has his level 6 you were talking about. They're trying to do something with it. The Lina actually rotated down to the bot lane to try and find some hookshot into Light Strike Array and Laguna, just a quick pick off and then straight back to mid, but unable to find anything, he will still return to mid.
QO has to know there is a ward here. He's not regenerating when he's on his own cliff at nighttime. That means there has to be an uphill ward, but he doesn't know where exactly it is. It's of course on Lina's own cliff. This negates a lot of Slark's strength in this mid lane during nighttime, which is usually when he starts having a really big impact. First of all, from reaching level 6 around that time, and secondly, of course, because of the extra night vision this hero has.
The Mad Cow's on the charge. I think March then realized he's going to charge right through the middle of the mid lane. Denied. And he's, yeah, just trying to stick just outside of vision, if possible. He was coming down for Ice. He's actually trapped here until QO mobs up the creep wave. Wants to keep his movements a little bit more secret. I'm still wondering though, like, if you do charge yourself in, can you find yourself a kill on bot lane without the Sonic Wave from KP? Is there really enough damage from MVP? We don't want to rely on 17% to win those fights.
March is level 6, so
Oh, here comes your charge coming after Super. QO just wants to dive, but he's got the Shadow Dance. Life Striker Ray's going to miss here, and in comes KP with a big Sonic Wave. FY getting hit by it as well, and QO chasing up with the Shadow Dance, just stealing out that essence of Rubik, but then Fenrir buys a little bit of space, but he'll have the Dark Pact. FY going to dive back behind the tower while the Cogs is Margin's protected by the Shallow Grave, charging away. He's going to get hooked, shot it down by Ice Ice Ice. There were still the 2 attacks from the tower that were chasing him, but Ice 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 caught on the wrong side of the river. KP still with Blink on cooldown for another 6 seconds, but has that double damage rune. He wants to go back to the lane. Ice 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 revealing himself in the lane. QO can look for the pounce right now. Able to get down there, but no leash, but they still find the kill on Ice Ice Ice. Waste a bit of time, but a kill is a kill. 5-5. Meanwhile, on top lane, Hal takes out the tier 1 tower. A bigger injection of money coming into that Morphling of VG.
It's still so good for MVP to get these 3. I think QO got all 3 kills in that situation. He's also getting somewhat decent farm here in mid. He's tied with Lina. Of course, the Morphling now very far ahead because he hasn't rotated as much as the Queen of Pain has. With QO grabbing all of that money, it looks like he's going to be cruising toward a 10-minute Midas in that mid lane with Bottle, Wand, and a Poor Man's Shield. This is very early. And this hero is extremely snowbally. It's one of the most snowbally carries in the game. If you get far ahead on a Slark, the game really tends to go in your favor. It's very difficult to deal with, and I don't feel like Vici Gaming has a particularly good lineup against him.
MVP, they'll probably really wish they used that. Oh, actually, they get it in time. They lose their own Observer Ward, but they needed to use the Sentry or the Tango or Febby to get rid of that Obs before. The Super came down with the Sentry, and the Ward battle will end with just 1 Sentry Ward remaining for the Radiant side. Ice 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 is looking for another kill, so he's moved off that bottom lane. Searching for an opening. 10-minute rune's going to be there too, an Invis rune for him. But he'll actually leave it with FY. So they can also move the Rubik up. Got to keep tabs on him as well. You do not want to give him anything. In fact, what does even FY look to steal here? He's going to have his level 6 as his creep wave's going to die underneath the tier 1 tower. But what's the Rubik really looking for to control MVP?
There are a couple of really cool steals. I think the main ones to look out for is the Blink from Queen of Pain. Paralyzing Cask can be really good against Slark and Spirit Breaker because they both come in close. And of course, both, a secondary mobility spell he could steal would be the Pounce of Slark. If he can grab Shadow Dance, that's generally huge, but it's a very difficult spell to steal as Slark will usually be using another ability during Shadow Dance, and then you obviously don't manage to grab it. Those are the main ones, in addition to, Sonic Wave.
Yeah. Gonna be difficult to grab that when the Scream should follow almost instantly. Fenrir actually being smoked up. He's here on a ward mission, leaving an aggressive ward behind the tier 1 tower where it used to be on the top lane. And March needs to charge away right now. Super starts with a Slave. They've still got Frostbite, and that's why March does not want to charge. And there will be too much damage dealt to him before he can get away. So they are able to find the kill on the Spirit Breaker, VG Gaming. And at the same time, KP and Ice 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 on bot lane. The battle continues as Ice 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 does have this hookshot available. He's waiting for KP to blink away, so then he can just lock him in. The battery assault, but just goes directly for the hookshot. The blink, barely in the nick of time. Gets out of the cogs and away from the clockwork. QO did, of course, take that big flash farm as well with the rest of his team. So Weaver's up, Death Ward is up. MVP are getting a lot more team fight abilities.
It's always interesting to see when Clock comes in close on a hero with a mobility spell like Leap of Mirana, Blinks, to see how he plays it out. And Ice 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 slightly overestimating his damage there. If he hooks just 1 second later, he probably finds that kill, but then it's possible KP has just blinked behind the creep wave. You need to assess when you have the opportunity. And if nothing else, he forced him back to base, as he should know. There's pretty much nothing on the quap remaining as far as health goes, so he's almost going to secure his Blade Mail from this aggressive play. That's pretty early with Tranquils, minute 12.
Sad thing is, for VG Gaming, they thought they would probably buy some space by sending that Queen of Pain back. But you've got a haste rune over on this Slark, who's searching for a kill. Now, Hal was the best one he wants to go for, but they also noticed too that the replicate was moving out. The smoke didn't break. That's why they know it's either a replicate or an illusion. And considering they picked up a haste rune, they're going to know it's a replicate, but they're going to go deeper. As far deep in as they can. The Lena's there, but there's no real ward. They've only just planted down a new one, so the only other choice they've got is to come in behind this tier 1 tower, where they'll find, in fact, both CM as well as Rubik walking into MVP. Fenrir, real trouble. They actually commit the Death Ward. The charge started on FY. Heavy commitment from MVP. They must have thought there'll be more coming, but QO wants to keep going. Back in behind the tower. In comes your charge. QO jumps in, gets that Legion now. FY being bashed around. 2 kills for MVP. They still got what they came for.
The Slark pick is so good in this game because Vici supports are completely outmatched by this hero. They don't have any defensive abilities, they don't have any mobility whatsoever. So the moment QO comes in close, if he gets the pounce on Rubik or CM, they're dead. There is no counterplay until they get a Ghost Scepter, which is super far away for both of them.
In the words of Shiva, they're just so squishy on VG Gaming. This is the reason why we were thinking, like, even something like a Spectre would just be able to just pop in. The Lina, the CM, the Rubik would just take so much damage early on, but when you got QO that keeps charging around, speaking of that, March going to have a move up towards Hal. He does have Waveform available. There's going to be your first hit. Strength morphing up already. There's no more support coming here, and he'll make a replica so we can play the positional game. And March just needs to run himself out, but QO on the way in, going to go for the Dark Pack. And up on the back of Morphling. Remy, he's still going to get this charge, but unless he gets perma bashed right now, he's not going to die. But there's just 17%, he's still got the replicate waveform up. And the jump away to safety. He had 12-1 charges up his sleeve as well.
How ice cold have you got to be to use waveform first, instead of just replicating out immediately there? Wow. That was really, really close. With a little bit extra luck there from March, they would have been able to grab Hal. But they sent him back to base. Once again, some good aggression coming out from MVP, and the good news for Vici Gaming is that they obviously don't know this for sure right now, but they've got to have a pretty good feeling that Hal is ahead as far as farm goes. He does have the highest net worth in the game right now, even against a Midas Slark with 4 kills.
But he's only got 100 in front.
CS advantage is just... It's still good enough if he keeps up for now, I think. The question for Vici Gaming is how do they activate their supports?
That's a very good question. Yule Scepter is now in for Super. He's going to need to actually stop March, but then again, no, he doesn't. March pulls out of the charge. And Morphling coming in to defend on the top lane. This tower is the battle for the last hit. QO not going to win that battle, but Hal, remember, you don't have a replicate right now. We're still on cooldown for 2 more seconds, and QO trying to beat into him. There's more support moving up, and FY might regret this rotation. As now, KP as well as Febby have arrived here. Hal still being charged, so they keep that vision up. QO's making the move. There's that replicant, but Hal, do they have enough control again? No waveform this time, and there's a 17% kicking in Fenrir. They're going to have some extra help. Ice, hook shotting in. KP needs to blink himself away. Need more time. Shallow Grave, Witch Doctor, the Death Ward's going, and ice, but the Blade Mail turned on. The paralyzing cast. Fenrir and Super, they're basically holding hands to the back lines. The Shallow Grave is there for nuts, but his chance of survival is so low. Turns on the Restoration. They're novering up. They see Febby with a Life Strike Array, barely missing from Super. So Morphling will drop, and in trade you lose your Spirit Breaker and your Witch Doctor.
I think MVP are okay with this exchange. Considering how the whole fight developed, that could have gone way worse for them.
It was fairly even. The experience is only different by maybe 300, 400. Gold only 200. That's from our teamfight recap. So it's not much of a difference. And now you actually get something like a Blink Dagger over on QO. You thought life was hard as a support before. It's about to get a lot harder.
Yeah, I think if MVP could take that fight 5 times in a row right now, where they trade March and a support to kill the Morphling, I think they would win the game. Like, the entire win condition for Vici Gaming is that this Morphling does get strong, as well as the Lina, and of course Super did stay alive there. I think the kill did go to the Crystal Maiden on the Spirit Breaker, yeah it did, so he got none of the last hits there, but the Slark is starting to get a really solid grip on the game. That 1 kill on Morphling, you remember a moment ago I said Morphling was 100 ahead? He's 1,000 behind. That's the kind of shift you get from making a play like that. And QO, as long as the Lina doesn't just blow him up in a combo, there's almost nothing countering him out. And we see a quick Orchid here as well from KP. Very good item against both Morphling and the Lina, although she does have a Eul's to be used defensively, of course.
This gives them even more aggression when MVP looks for fights, but Vici Gaming are the ones looking for it. A 3-man smoke move, they're going to walk into QO. He blinks himself forward right now and being bursted down. There goes your Slark with a Sonic Wave steal of Rubik. FY, as we said, never underestimate him, but now KP comes back for revenge for what was stolen. Febby can't move close enough to him, but March, he can. The charge comes forward, the comps get them back for now. Remember that Weaver's there, March being stunned, looking to play the Shallow Grave, keeping him alive, but now he goes for the ulti, but then the Yules up in the air. It's going to be the Queen of Pain. March still alive for the moment around the tree line. They do bring him down. But KP in real trouble. Sonic Waves in 1 second. He needs more time. Blink away to safety. He's bottling up. Already used the 1 charges. He could turn. He's got Sonic Wave plus Scream of Marble hiding inside the tree line for the moment. But he'll blink sink in deeper. Meanwhile, Febby is actually chasing down Ice in the bottom river. That urn charge, he's so low, but not low enough to find the kill. The rocket actually scouts out Febby. Is it worth? No, he doesn't actually have Hawk. Still on cooldown for 20 seconds, and the rocket damage is not enough.
A little bit of panic or miscommunication from Vici Gaming there. They layered their stuns on the Queen of Pain, or rather the Lina stun and the Crystal Maiden Frostbite. If they combine those correctly, they do find that absolutely key kill, but still, they got the better exchange here. A lot of gold going their way, especially the Slark kill was really massive for FY. Being a low gold support, or actually, who got the last hit on him? I can't see that anymore now. I can't remember. I don't think it was FY himself. Anyway, who claimed that kill got quite a bit of gold on it.
Afraid I can't help you on that front, Fenrir. Oh, no one will be able to help him in a moment. He's walking right next to QO. And then, well, there's your Dark Pack. How much damage have you got, Fenrir? Not enough to get the kill. So he helps himself with that Lincoln Sphere. 19 minutes up for Hal. A very nice timing for the Morphling and a lot more protection against his MVP lineup. But how much more does he need? Do we still go for that E-Blade? And is E-Blade actually going to do anything up against MVP?
Yes, absolutely. It makes Laguna Blade just destroy anyone. Until, of course, he gets the axe, then it's pure damage, so then E-Blade doesn't amplify it anymore. But in either case, he's definitely going to have a lot of damage. It is, however, possible that he doesn't go for it at all. And what makes me think this is that he didn't skill Adaptive Strike. He actually took a point in stats over it. He's level 11 with a 4042 build.
So you turn it more into a fighter build, something more like a Skadi, or? I'm
guessing so, and that they feel like they have enough magic damage alone with all of their other heroes, which, you know, it's kind of that thing, you want to find the right balance between Spell Burst and having physical carry late game, and a lot of the time the E-Blade is just very powerful, but the more I think about it, the better it probably is to just go for a combat build this time around.
Charges coming down. We might actually see Crystal Maiden getting popped. QO just catching Fenrir out of position. He was moving up into his own jungle. That leash is holding him a little bit too much longer. And then Clockwork while QO breaks free of the Sun almost instantly and win the Orchid on Ice. They don't want to throw in anything more apart from the Death Ward. But QO coming back in the fight. Ice almost down, but still alive until KB finally puts him in the grave. 1-for-1 triumph March. Looking for the oldie, and there's your Sonic Wave. He's still got Nether Strike, but Super with the strike there is going to keep him now. In fact, the Lincoln Spear triggering, blocking it. It's a 2-for-2 trade-off, and QO is still alive. Blinks away to safety. Hal not attacking him, so not putting that Blink Dagger back on cooldown. And QO wants to come back in again. The Observer Ward's up so they can see where VG is moving. In fact, Hal just walks straight into him. The Lincoln Spear trigger into the Orchid. He actually got to use the Shadow Strike to do it. And Hal dropping low. Life Strike Array won't better connect. But Hal, with so much strength, 2,000 life. They get rid of the Observer Ward. But QO back in again, playing with the supports in the back line. While Hal realizes this, he has to turn around to help out his team. QO is still very low, but out of vision. Healing up quickly with the bottle charges. Fenrir back already, but Super. QO, yeah, that's not going to happen. Oh my God.
If he actually would have gone for that, this guy is ice cold. He is exceptionally good at Slark, by the way. I think he's one of the best players in the world on this hero. He's shown it time and time again. How good he is at getting in and out of fights and really evaluating how far he can stretch before he has to go back out and regen. This fight, he makes the right call not to chase one more time onto the Lina. He would have pretty much surely died there.
But his pressure onto the VG supports, the second he did that, like, you saw Morphling. Like, Hal was almost certain he was having himself a kill right there, and then realized he has to turn around and help out the rest of his teammates. That pressure from Slark, you're always looking behind you. And March should be doing the same thing as he's about to get initiated on there. Still 1,700 life to get through. Yules into the Light Strike, plus Laguna Blade.
It sounds like a lot, but
it really isn't when you have that much damage on Vici.
But then you have Alina, and then 1,700 is not much.
And there's 400 gold from the Ags. So the Super's about to get a big upgrade with his ultimate.
I'm wondering if Vici Gaming are expecting that a BKB will come out sometime soon. It looks like the Queen of Pain actually is building one, so that's going to be very nice for dealing with KP. For Super, as their physical damage output right now is, as we talked about, really underwhelming. So when those BKBs come out, they need to have a solution to kill the BKB cores here.
I'm actually wondering too then with Slark, because we're seeing QO building into the Skadi. Is it even worth him going a BKB in this game? Or should you just go for more points? Is Fenrir? Well, they get rid of the Observer Ward to start with, and FY and Fenrir both moving in. QO's not even going for that. He sees Hal in the mid, but no, turns around. Comes back into Fenrir and FY, Frostbite and Telekinesis. Not the greatest chain in the world, but they knew the Dark Pack deal. He's going to break free, pounce up into Ice. The bounce from March, actually knocking Ice back. They're able to get the sounds up with the Sonic Wave. actually trigger the Lincoln Spear, but at the same time, Super and Fenrir, they can't run. It's back down to Hal. Back up to Super. March another charge, hitting into Hal. Might even push him up on top of the cliffside. He's inside the rock face. Hal bashed again. 77%. Hal is down. March breaking the game and winning the fight for MVP. They do the work and they'll take the Roshan.
This is what happens 1 out of 200 times when you have an ability that's true random and not pseudo-random. March got so lucky there. Oh, it's unbelievable. It's possible they could have caught Hal anyway, but that's gotta, you know, that's such a mental blow. You feel like the game just cheated you, right?
Yep. You had this Morphling, you had a Lincoln Spear. The sad thing is, too, the Paralyzing Cask works so well against it. It triggers a Lincoln Spear, but it doesn't actually stop the cask from bouncing. So it bounces up and then straight back down. He still gets stunned. The Lincoln Spear actually became a non-factor. Apart from stats and regen. That's all it was.
That was such a good cast too. I think it got all the bounces off. It bounced between Lina and CM at least 3 times. And then
it even came back down to the Morphling after they were looking for the kill. It's...
Wow, look at that spike up.
That's... For the first time in 24 minutes, the entire game, MVP are actually leading by a smidge on the gold and the net worth up by 6,000 they gained during that last engagement.
This is when you want to put on the pressure if you're MVP. QO is getting close to Scotty, and it's almost impossible for Vici Gaming to kill him twice.
You've actually also
wait a second, Lina went in a different direction. We thought she was going to go for the Ags.
Yeah, hey, wait, what? It's a soul booster.
Yeah, we disregarded the possibility of going for a Bloodstone. I definitely don't think this is an Octarine core for Super. Now, what's really interesting about this is that this makes BKBs on MVP so much better. Now Slark might actually consider it after his Scotty just to be completely invincible.
March, gonna try and charge away, but Yulsip is gonna stop this one, and then waveform. March is dead. Hilariously enough, FY stole actually the worst ability you could get in the game, which was the empowering haste at the start. So SB triggered it. You're right, like, he actually keeps the passive from this at least.
No, it's not very good. It's not very good.
No, it's not. You're trying to find a logical way where it's like, you know what, actually, it's going to work really well for VG with a higher maneuverability lineup.
Yeah, the thing, if you look over MVP's lineup, if they had less mobile heroes, something like that movement speed would be really good, but it just seems like MVP will beat them at the mobility game anyway, so it doesn't really matter that much.
Kuro with his farm and Midas usage, he is now 300 gold away from having the full Scotty. Got to be careful with his courier. And looks like we also get Febby able to start buying up items as he's now got a Talisman of Evasion. So that's sitting over on the courier. There's also a lot of money on the Witch Doctor. Kind of haven't flagged nuts. Of course, we flagged his Paralyzing Cast, but not his money. When this Aghanim Scepter starts to arrive, it's already a hard enough time for heroes like Crystal Maiden and Rubik. It's going to be an impossible time. Unless they can keep their distance. Glimmer Cape away. FY does have that Blink Dagger.
Ice Ice bottom lane. March is just going in.
Okay.
He used both his spells. Ice Ice is out. But once again, something I really like about, if you look at the pattern of how March plays on the Spirit Breaker, there are 2 things he does. He's extremely selfless. He will engage the fight pretty much to surely die, but set up his team very well. And he will just threaten constantly. Even if he knows he can't get the kill, he wants to make the enemy think that backup is coming and that the kill is there. So he just forces them away and gives them map control. He's 2 and 9. He's had a massive impact on this offlane Spirit Breaker this game.
And he can have more because the Dazzle's behind him now with a full Solar Crest as well. So even if you are low, you're going to have extra support to keep you up, and this allows heroes like players like QO to move forward and attack into that tier 1 tower. He's got no real worries anyway. In fact, they're going to Solar Crest him up at the moment, but with an Aegis Immortal and 15 1 charges, a full Scotty, Blink Dagger, you know you're going to regenerate up quickly anyway. He's also going to crack level 16 in just a moment. So now we'll have a level 3 on that Shadow Dance.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
VG Gaming are in such a rough spot. They need a fantastic fight. They need Hal to do something more. And Ice Ice got to die. The charge is coming in. Life for Great will be there on QO. But the charge comes in and March. Where does he want to go? That Nether Strike. He actually has it. And with a Sonic Wave, they find the kill on the clockwork. March though. Lacuna played it down. There was no Shallow Grave to save. Now Hal. The front lines. Nuts. He's going to be Shallow Grave. Into that Death Lord. How much damage? Not enough. The cast gets stolen by FY. And messing with MVP's fight. We do have the Aegis Immortal triggering, which means QO will be back to all the living, and they look for the permanent stuns if they can get him, pounce up and away. QO into the trees, regenerating 134 life a second. Ice no hook shot, and QO and KP, they just blink themselves and pounce away to safety. They bail out that VG fight.
The moment I saw Spirit Breaker charging into that, I was like, there is no way they win that fight. And there wasn't.
It seemed crazy to do it to the tier 3 tower. They still got the buyback out of it, out from Ice.
It wasn't the worst trade, actually. I mean, they lose their Spirit Breaker Witch Doctor, and they use the Aegis, but they get a kill on Ice, they get a buyback. It's a net gold gain for the Radiant, but all in all, probably they would have liked to get a little bit more out of that Aegis on QO.
But it's the way MVP wants to play this lineup. They want to keep the pressure on VG Gaming. They want to think, okay, VG Gaming, you have to rotate to stop us. You see how quickly VG move out on the map. At this point, they're just trying to get a little bit more like vision, but you've got MVP to move out. QO starts farming up agents. KP starts pushing out top lane. They've got a couple of players now behind March, who's in mid. But they just try and make more of the map, and VG Gaming, I'm not saying they're scared on the map, but it doesn't really seem like they're that comfortable moving outside their own base right now, just because of how aggressive MVP are playing.
It's nighttime. Slark owns right now.
Yep.
You're playing against a super farm Slark at nighttime with your 1,000 hit point support. It's not very fun. But with that said, Fenrir did manage to grab himself a Glimmer Cape. This is a very good item against the Slark, of course, if he's not carrying any detection. He does not have any stuns until he goes for a Basher into Abyssal build. And in that last fight as well, when I saw the charge in and QO pouncing into the cogs, I was like, okay, there's going to be a really good freezing field. Fenrir didn't have it skilled. He has it now. And he used it toward the end of the fight. He got the level up from the first kill. And Glimmer Cape freezing field could really be a problem for MVP. Do they have any detection on him? They actually don't.
Jumping in, they're going after Super, the charge there too. They're fully armored up. The weave was used before this fight, so it's going to be difficult to inflict any kind of damage. Ice, Elite's cocking them in, but now your death want again being cancelled. The adaptive strike going to work, and Fenrir lets it go, but there's not many of MVP around to actually take the damage. Super, Laguna Blade, he actually brings down QO March. The job will be finished. It was the Urn Charge that was doing the work, and Fenrir trying to control up Spirit Breaker, but that's not Mad Cow being chased out. In fact, he's just running himself away, letting KP blink further away from VG Gaming. There's still a 2-for-1 trade from Batman 2-2 as Morphling ends the Queen of Pain streak. So much money in for Hal. At the end of that engagement, this is not the fight MVP wanted.
They only got one kill. The Lina suicided at the end of that, so it's a really big win for Vici Gaming.
Hal can actually buy the full Skadi if he wants it now. So much. In fact, yep, there she is. The Morphling is now a real problem during the team fights, and Super on top lane, actually going for that yours on March. They're going to keep fighting him, and well, Laguna Blade comes back off cooldown to snap March out. So VG Gaming, they get another easy pick-off. The downside is the BKB was already purchased by the SP, so you already have his full BKB up and running. So you don't take too much money away, but you're still finding more and more kills.
They need to be so careful now, MVP. They were in a great position with their Slark. Everything was looking very good. If they make one or two more mistakes, Hal's late game Morphling is extremely difficult to deal with. And I don't feel like... So we've been talking a lot about how good Slark is here. I don't think MVP have very good counters for the Morphling super late. Slark is pretty good. If you get to lock down the Morphling and you get a lot of attacks in, you can steal so much agility and you can remove some of his armor. But overall, the high mobility of the hero, I would say, gives him a favorable matchup late game against Slark. And MVP, if they had a super fun Spirit Breaker, sure, but he's been playing pretty sacrificial as we talked about. He has a BKB only at minute 32.
Hasn't been a funnest game for him. But we are looking for the lockdown, so it looks like the Basher build coming in for the Slark. Unless he sees a butterfly appearing on the Morphling and feels like a Monkey King bar is his option. But for now, the top lane, Hal's fine here. He's still got himself a, well then again, maybe he should be fine. The SB coming in for the Nether Strike, and Hal, he had a replicate, needs more time, and then he jumps out. Going to survive through this, and BKB from KP, FY causing more trouble. They are going to have a crack in the mid lane. Ice turns around, he actually managed to avoid the leash, and then locks him inside the cogs. The charge is coming in, and with their time, Ice is going to TP himself out. They go for more Vici. Febby was in too close for Shallow Grave and March. He's been picked up and tossed around. He was actually still charging Ice back in base. He'll TP out in time. Febby will not be so lucky. Hal's right behind him. Adaptive strikes to kill him off. And VG Gaming, now 2 consecutive fights heavily going their way. And you do get the Lina Aghanim Scepter now. That's what she spent some money on.
Super's decision to go for the Bloodstone has really worked out here. It gave him a lot of tankiness. He's already increased the number of charges even after having to suicide once. And he still manages to get a very timely act here. This could be Elena Rax. Morphling is very quick at pushing the tower with this high agility. And there's pretty much no threat.
Especially if KP can't get up there. Ice was looking for him. Try and stop the TP back. Spirit Breaker playing around with Fenrir as well. But how does keeps going to work? They get him back out now. Slark's up in a moment.
This is one of those scary situations where, you know, the game is pretty even on experience and gold, and you feel like MVP definitely have the damage output they need to kill off key heroes, but if they make one mistake, they could almost lose the game just from that. They could lose 2 lanes of Rax. I'm assuming the Morphling of Hal will go for maybe either a Butterfly or a Mantis style next, and regardless of which item he chooses, he pushes so much faster than what you just saw. Can easily take a lane and a half in a minute.
Charge coming in from MVP. Gonna actually go straight through Ice, turns on the BKB, runs past the entire of VG Gaming. Ice being iced, and the Orc is still on him. There's no extra damage until he comes on back. The Sly finds a kill. Fenrir dropping quickly as well. Gonna play Hero. Has to leave himself away. He's in the side of the tree, out of vision. But KP comes in, coming up across the main, and QO back in 1 second as Mars charging. He's got 9 life, and he charges in for this one. FY might get the screen, but can't stop a super. Orc it up. His physical damage is more than enough right now. Sending you up in the air. They need a stun or something to stop Super, and the paralyzing cast can do it. Bouncing back and forward. In comes March again. The cast will now stop, but is there more damage? How? He is just too strong. 3.5k life. They cannot repel him, and this will be nuts dying in the tree line. KP's also on the run. The Lina is chasing him down. Super needs more movement speed, and in the tree line, Life Breaker Ray just off target. They can't get the team wipe. VG will still lose 3, but MVP lose 4. They stopped VG Gaming for going for Roshan, but MVP, that Spirit Breaker again. Through all of VG Gaming is still hanging around on under 50 life.
March is playing incredibly well. Like, he's 3-12 and 10. I feel like he's played a great game. That fight for me was pretty much perfect. Sure, he ended up getting killed at the end. He made so much space in the fight. His first charge, hitting like 3 or 4 heroes with BKB, zoning out 2 heroes to get a free kill on the Clockwork. But it wasn't enough for MVP in that situation. And the Roshan will go to Vici Gaming. Even Laguna playing him for style points here, Super. And How is going to go for that Butterfly, as it looks, has the Eagle Song. And Super and How survive. So the 2 big cores on Vici live to take Roshan. It also means they get a big gold advantage out of it, of course, as those kills are the most valuable.
There really is no way to...
They
can't kill the Morphling. They're getting to the point now, once Morphling has that Butterfly up and running, you got Evasion to fight against. Your nuke power is not enough to burn through the Morphling. With Mana Life, you can also gain during the fight by strength morphing up. You need Marge to get the perma hit set with his bashes, and you get a basher on the Slark, so QO, for all his damage, he's still going to be missing during the fight. So a manly fight against both the Slark as well as the Morphling won't really work, but then again, FY, there's your bash going to work for QO into FY, next he stole, he actually into the game, pounce, and FY 4-stars up, isolating QO, needs more help here, he can't pounce out, they control him too much. 70 seconds with no buyback, FY escaping the engagement. And they're looking for more. Febby's on the run from How. This could even be even bigger. If you lose your Dazzle as well as your Slark, they can just take mid-ranks. Febby on the run out of here. Evasion not going to help him. Back the adaptive strike. He does have TP up, but there's no way he's going to survive long enough to use it. That is 2 heroes down for MVP, and VG Gaming, their only concern right now is top lane. They can take a mid-rank in return.
It's 2 heroes and 2 lanes of Rax. How could do it alone right now? He's going to be pushing so fast, but of course, he's going to have plenty of help coming in from Super with this ridiculous amount of attack speed. Just look at these barracks just disappear. It's currently only Hal hitting it. Imagine if the Lina was laying into that one as well, but she's going to go for the top tower. MVP doing the right thing. They can't defend this at all. So they're going to try to get the best possible trade here, which is unfortunately for them a tier 2 tower. But if they try to fight, the game is over. They have to give 2 lanes up. They can't fight without the Slark.
No other choice, but at least MVP has one upside. That 2 towers still exists on the bottom, which is the only reason why VG Gaming are not sticking around for Megas. The SB is charging in, but this is way too early. None of his team is alive. So March gets to his own secret shop. But the charge is not completed, obviously. Custom buying herself something nice. Now Solar Quest go with that Glimmer Cape. Fully accessorized CM.
They just got so much gold on that.
Yep.
When you get 2 lanes of racks, just look at that.
12,000 gold, 11,000 in the experience. It's all swinging the way of Vici Gaming. An Aghanim Sept for FY. If he wasn't dangerous before, he's even more dangerous now. He's even still got a casually stolen Shallow Grave.
They can make a big play with this, actually. I don't think MVP are aware at all. Oh, QO's in a really bad position, actually.
There's your hook shot. They catch him down, pick him up, throw him down. Adaptive strike for the Sun. QO again down for the count, and again 70 seconds on the sideline.
That's got to be game over. How are they going to hold this for a whole minute without their most farmed hero?
I think even if they
Never mind, Crop is their most farmed hero. How are they going to hold without their second most farmed hero?
Even if they had the slot, I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference. VG Gaming is so strong. They can't keep him out. You have a Witch Doctor ulti. The only beautiful way that MVP would do this is if Spirit Breaker causes such chaos, the paralyzing cast hurts them so much, and Witch Doctor gets a full duration, uninterrupted. Aghanim Sept the ulti. It's still only level 2 though. But that's like the only way that VG Gaming would be repelled. They wouldn't even win the fight with that. It's just going to push them back and probably have an even trade.
Oh, they've got to go for it. March is currently pushing. He's going to charge now. He's not going to be there in a pretty good time.
They have fortification by a little bit more time, and that weave is going to be pretty much a full max when he arrives. So in comes March. He's charging up the Super. The stun from Super running too late in the BKB. KP jumps out too, but he got backed up and stunned up almost instantly. KP goes down 80 seconds, and there's your buyback while Nuts controlled by Ice. A Death Ward, it just doesn't exist. Ice will kill him in the tree line. KP comes up with a Sonic Wave. The hook shot gonna miss. Can't get out, but again, now Rubik actually stole Sonic Wave. He's actually got the ulti to help burst down the slot. All he needs is one extra stun. Q is throwing low FY. There she blows. And down he goes. Triple kill for Hao and GG. Vici Gaming will take game 1 here against the Korean team MVP. And what a good start. It looked good for MVP. And then Vici Gaming, then Morphling came online.
MVP, I think, felt like they had to make some really aggressive plays, which they definitely did, but they got a little bit overzealous on the fights outside the Dire base, and Vici Gaming are just too experienced of a team to get phased by that aggression. They played really solidly. They